2, take it away.
Battle
Be on
Buddies.
live.
Once again, we're live. We're almost live. Come on. No technical difficulties today.
I see a live button.
Positive energy.
See the record. Let's do this. Come on.
Bam! We're on live. We're live. We're there. And we got like a 5-second delay. Okay. So welcome to Battle Buddies Live, everybody. We got a roundtable approach this evening. And what we're going to discuss, we just dropped one, John Peterson, excuse me. Call him Joe like 5,000 times face to face.
Until he finally just left.
Yeah, he probably got tired of it before I pre-called him Joe. So we're going to discuss approaches of how everybody uses LinkedIn on this chat here this evening. The goal is all of us kind of have a little different approach and way that we prefer to do these things. So we can do a screen share when the time is appropriate, but that's where we're going to start. So what I'd like to do is go around. So when I'm looking at the live screen here, we got Matt, Zach, Sarah, Pete, and then Sue. If you could introduce yourselves in that manner or in that order, and then just give you a little brief background on your military experience. And when we get to Marine Corps, I don't want any grunting or any of that stuff, okay? I know that was tough, Zach. I said Marine Corps twice now, and you didn't get a raw in. So anyways.
I'm keeping it PG because that's what I was told to do earlier.
Okay.
13.
Go.
I'm Matt Anderson. Spent 7 years in the Army, 6 active, 1 National Guard. Was in the intelligence branch. Now I have 2 full-time roles right now. I am working as a strategy and operations executive at a consulting firm, and then I also own a small CBD company.
Okay. Zach.
Zach Johnson, United States Marine Corps. Hoorah. I served from 2007 to 2011, 2 tours, Iraq, Afghanistan. I'm a combat wounded veteran, got blown up in Afghanistan, blessed to be here. I continue my service by doing this kind of stuff, but I work with the Minnesota Assistance Council for Veterans. I am an employment specialist over there. If anybody's looking for help with resume writing, we have legal services. If you have homeless veterans that need transitional housing or any housing needs, please reach out, contact me. But otherwise, if anybody's looking to help with job seeking in any way, please feel free to reach out. We got a great team with myself, Scott Harris and Ryan Schaefer, and then we have resume classes every Tuesdays and Fridays from noon to 2 with Bob Anderson.
Hey, Zach, quick. You guys doing the stand down again this year? And when is that?
We are working on doing the stand down. We were talking about getting everything going with WCCO and everything and getting that pushed out there. So we're working on that right now. Don't have a specific date to that. Just so that everybody is aware, E2020, which is through the Minnesota Military Exchange, is this Thursday. It's MNME, Mike November, Mike Echo.org. Go on there, get registered. There's a lot of good classes for veteran services for the state of Minnesota. But if anybody is looking for that resume class or anything else, doesn't matter if you're not from Minnesota, you're more than welcome to come join us. But there's going to be a lot of good information this week.
Okay, Sarah, your turn. Representing South Dakota.
Sarah Farstead out at Eastern South Dakota. I was U.S. Army for 11 years, 4 of them active duty, 7 in the reserves. Air Defense, Adjutant, and Civil Affairs, 1 tour to Iraq and back. Currently, I'm the operations manager for an electronics company, so a lot of logistics, purchasing, and order entry, all that kind of fun stuff. And yeah, happy to be here.
Awesome.
Pete.
All right. Hi, everybody. It's Pete Lavelle once again. 23 years Air Force combined, a little active duty, a lot of Air National Guard, logistics, aircraft maintenance, all that good stuff. I, by circumstances, have started my own resume business, so I write resumes and do pretty fine examples. So Zach, if your instructor ever craps out or you want to up your game on the resume instruction class, you look me up.
Or a new perspective, right?
Yeah, different perspectives and things like that. So I've conducted orientations classes and things before too. So
Tell that general you got that's retired that you guys need some new help every now and then. You heard me, Zach. Don't act like you didn't hear me. Sue?
He's muted.
Hi, everybody. I'm Sue. I am a 26-year retired Master Sergeant in the USAR. My last job was as an OCT. For those of you that don't know, that's an observer controller trainer. Naming convention has changed, but I currently now work for a company by the name of Accenture in Minneapolis as a business operations analyst.
So, and just an FYI, anybody that asks a really good question that's watching live, you will be the recipient of a Battle Buddy sticker starter pack.
Yeah.
All I need is your address, but the questions have to be good. And I don't know, just has to be good. And good is subjective, of course. So we, Pete and I and Sue as well are on here kind of beating you guys over the head on LinkedIn all of the time. And I thought it would be interesting to get some different people's perspective on here. And what I'm going to do is do what you shouldn't do. And I'm going to call on the new guy first. Since Sarah was on last week, she's not the new person. I don't want to assume pronouns here, but I'm going to assume Matt's a guy. So Matt, can you give us your perspective on LinkedIn and whether it's been effective or ineffective, or things that you think have been shortfalls that you could use that would be better, or transitioning vets, how they can use it more effectively? So this seems to be the abyss of transition, in my opinion, for TAP guys, TAP fellas.
Transitioning is interesting for us, especially those of us that were active duty, because they spend all this time while we're in the military teaching us how to do this, how to do that, and then we get about anywhere between 2 weeks and a month of training, if you call it that, on this is how you write a resume, thrown in with everything else. LinkedIn, I'd say, was probably, I've been on since MySpace on social media sites. So I'd make it probably the third or fourth site I was on. Watching how the sites have kind of developed, I'd say LinkedIn has really been the first site that really gives veterans a good opportunity to take their social media presence and package it in a way that's going to set them up for success once they step outdoors into the civilian world, or into a different capacity, no matter what that might be, even if they're National Guard reserves, or whatever capacity they're serving in. I've used it both looking for jobs and on the employment side. It's good for both of those. It's also good just to network, find other veterans, find employers, and actually gives you a way to bypass a lot of the gatekeepers that you would have to go through if you called on a company, picked up an application, submitted your resume through a traditional path, and kind of gives you a direct avenue to approach some of the decision makers, some of the people that you actually need to get a hold to get your paperwork, to get your resume in front of them, so that way you know that your resume is in the pile, in the right pile, to actually get seen by the people it needs to get seen by. When you go through resume processes, you could go through anywhere up between, 3 to 5 reviews of that resume by different people before someone actually makes a decision on whether you're going to get that job or not. So if you're talking to the person who's in decision place number 3 or decision place number 5 towards the top of actually making that decision on who's going to get that gainful employment, it gives you that opportunity to just kind of work through some of those cracks a little bit more.
Nice answer. So we had another person join. His name is Trevor Woods. He's someone I snagged off of LinkedIn a couple of weeks ago. He's on mute right now, but I'm going to let him introduce himself, and then we'll throw him under the bus after Sarah goes so he can catch up to speed. Hey, Trevor.
Nice.
Are you speaking, Trevor? Oh, it says connecting to audio. All right. All right, Trevor, you want to do a mic check? See if you're there. All right, we're going to jump over to Sarah. Then, Sarah, do you mind giving the guys a perspective on what you find LinkedIn to be helpful for in the transition?
Yeah, so when I left active duty, that would have been in 2006, and it really wasn't something that they told us about as we were leaving. I don't know if it was because I was transitioning out as an officer and they thought I knew better and didn't need the extra help to find a job. They talked to more headhunters at the time. So I really didn't have a lot of experience with LinkedIn coming out of the service. But once I started with the company I'm at right now, I actually used it more for sales and networking. So I did telesales at the time and used it to learn about companies. What do they do? Where are they at? What kind of employees do they have? What kind of jobs do they have? And then if I knew anybody, if I had a connection, I could build connections from there. So, you know, if you're looking for jobs, if you're looking for companies, it's a really interesting way to learn more about a company you might be interested in working for, because it's employee profiles and it's a professional profile, not their website that's controlled by a web server. It's just employees and a professional site to get a little more information on jobs that are available, what they do, and also multiple locations. You want to work for a company and they're in Chicago, Atlanta, Dallas, and Phoenix. That gives you a resource if you're in those areas to work for that same company. So that's kind of what I found with it so far.
Nice. Okay, Trevor, are you able to speak now?
Hey, how you doing?
There we go. You mind introducing yourself to everybody and giving a brief background on your military career and then a LinkedIn perspective, since you're the FNG here tonight?
Yeah, so my name is Trevor Woods. I'm currently in the military, so I'm about 9 months from retirement. My transition leave starts in April. I'm a senior military science instructor in a university in northern PA. So if anybody knows where Erie's at, I'm from Gannon University. I'm the senior military science instructor there. Do you want me to post my LinkedIn profile in the chat?
If possible, I'll get it from you later if that doesn't work for you right now. So don't worry. Yeah, we'll post it. Okay. We'll post it on Facebook, LinkedIn, all of that stuff later.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I connected to you, Chuck, through LinkedIn. I just saw the organization Battle Buddies USA, and I was like, oh, that sounds cool. So I sent you a connect, and we connected. And then I saw some of the Zoom calls and some of the other stuff you guys do through these Zoom meetings you guys have. So I thought I'd Zoom in with you guys and see how everybody's doing, and hopefully tap into some information, some knowledge, because I'm all for learning new things and trying to figure out this transition process and learn as much as I can. So
cool.
Real quick question for you, Trevor. When you're transitioning out, where are you moving back to?
What? Say that again. I'm sorry.
Where are you moving back to?
So this in the Midwest, I'm shooting for Austin area, or Dallas,
Okay.
Southern Dallas.
Okay.
Arlington area to be specific, or somewhere in the Wichita, Kansas City area. So I'm not trying to just focus on one area, because my main purpose is to find employment. So I'm open. I'm geographically flexible, as they say.
Okay.
But mainly Midwest, the Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas area.
Roger that.
Sarah, do you want to tell them how amazing South Dakota is quick, like you did last week? Maybe you might want to consider there. If you can get over the weather, it's amazing, actually.
Right. If you don't mind snow in October, it's a fantastic place for for veterans, for prior service. Yeah, very open, free, no restrictions. Our governor is pretty awesome. So, yeah, don't be afraid to come north.
We're adopting her.
Yep. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't heard a lot of things about South Dakota, but in Erie, we do get a lot of snow every year, so I could probably relate to you on some level.
Okay, Zach, you've been around the employment game a bit now.
Yeah.
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn was huge for me. So like, I mean, even so when I went to college at Dunwoody, that was kind of one of the things that was taught to us is, you know, getting our LinkedIn set up and everything like that. So, you know, it was really unfortunate because I used my school email and I got locked out of it. All the connections for all the construction stuff that I had gone. And it was such a bummer. But it's like, you know what? I transitioned from construction into doing work because I want to keep working with veterans. So I went, you know what, it's probably a good time for me to revamp my LinkedIn as it is. So I just went, all right, time to start from scratch. And I started a new page, and it takes time. You have to be patient with it. You have to slowly but surely build your network. If you go to this group, you go to other networking groups, and if I see new faces in these, you know, Zoom meetings, or if I'm in a Suicide Prevention Coalition meeting, or if I'm in, doesn't matter what it is, and I see a new face, I pull my linked up on my phone and I pull up and try to get those new faces on my LinkedIn, because you never know what that person might provide. Or if you post something and go, I'm struggling. I've read the 20-minute networking book. I've read Mission Transition, you know, like I've gone through all this stuff and tried to figure out, but something's not clicking. Well, somebody's going to have your back in your LinkedIn eventually. The pieces will come together. And I mean, even when I got this job working with MACV, it was partially because of LinkedIn, but it was also partially because I networked with other people, and I co-case managed with people who I now work with. And it is kind of like, it's a who you know thing. And the more people you know on LinkedIn, and, you know, and please be smart about what you post. Oh my gosh, can't even be like,
no politics. It should be like the Battle Buddies rules, you know,
Literally.
No politics, no religion, no negativity.
It's like the 3 things you don't talk about when you go to the bar. Seriously. It's like, just focus on what you're there for. You're there to build yourself on a professional level for a career that you want to be proud of, and keep rolling with that. And, you know, if you need it tweaked a little bit, you know, work with people who are in this, you know, look at what ours look like. But it's kind of a chance for like a resume. Like it's a chance for you to brag about yourself a little bit and go, this is kind of how great I am, and this is what I can bring to the table.
You know what I find interesting, Zach, you brought up, I jumped in there, is I see some people trying to become LinkedIn famous, if that's a thing, by posting stupid shit on there.
Without a doubt.
It's like, I'll see these very poor attempts at like a video or a meme, and, you know, the thing that a veteran does on their ETS day or whatever. And it's like, dude, nobody's going to hire the joker, you know? I mean, so your content is pretty critical.
Yeah.
One of the things that, remember, Pete, we had a LinkedIn professional come in at one of these meetings we were in once, probably 2-3 years ago. I don't remember the lady's name, but, and you and I have talked about this in the past, is you've taken a lot of time to write articles, and that's hit or miss as far as profile views and all of that. You want to talk about commenting on people's stuff and what that might do for you?
Well, just quickly, one story that I'll tell you is, I've written several blogs and I posted them out there, and they don't never get as much traffic as you'd want. But I would say that the performance is probably even less than what it wasn't good. Let's just say that. And then I just started sharing stories of interest that were in my lane, story about jobs, and I posted a story about 3M closing a plant up just north of here, and just said, oh, this is sad. It's an all too familiar story. You know, I'm here for you guys. I share kinship, blah, blah, blah. I got like 10,000 views after a while. It gained life of its own. So it's not about you being a writer or, being creative and all that. Sometimes if you just go out and share what other people haven't had a chance to share, that's genuinely interesting, that speaks into people's heart and professional mind, then you can get some notoriety out of there. You don't have to make it a goal to be a quote unquote thought leader out there. I don't know really at the end of the day what value being a thought leader is going to carry for you, but there you have it. So just being active, commenting on other people's shares, being genuine, authentic, and just getting into the conversations that are happening there. Everything that exists is pretty short-lived, and really the reality is it's a limited bandwidth that's going to see it. So you want to be frequent and you want to be authentic.
So one of the things too that was discussed in this class that we were in was the clicking the like button on stuff that literally does nothing for you. So just as an example on Battle Buddies, I'm guessing with the traffic on the page is it probably would get 1,000 to 2,000 notifications per day if I didn't turn off all of those notifications and off my personal page. So clicking on like doesn't get my attention on something, but if you reply to me or whatever, I do my best to reply to everybody, because if it feels, if they engaged me, I owe it back to them to engage them back. And I think you'll find the same thing on LinkedIn. People are always looking to be able to have a conversation on there. So don't post rhetorical stuff necessarily. If you post something out there as a response to someone else's post, chances are they're going to connect with you. I mean, Trevor just gave an example of how he got here tonight. And that was through connecting to me on LinkedIn. I asked him if he wanted to come on here one of these weeks. And look, the guy's on here now. You can see his face even. He's got his video running and everything. So it does work. And I think I probably have 2,000, 2,500 people that I'm connected to myself. So if Trevor reaches out and he's like, hey, I see that everybody always wants to work at Polaris. That's like the thing that everybody shoots for. They don't pay anything, guys. Just don't even bother hitting me up. Whatever you think is a reasonable pay rate, have it. And then what they do is they treat you like they're crack dealers, and they're like, but we'll give you a snowmobile. We'll give you an India motorcycle. We'll give you a side-by-side. And to me, not going to get into the Hunter Biden stuff, but it was really hard to resist that. Did you like that, Sarah? I had to go there. Sorry, it was wide open. But anyway, so try to engage people, and that's going to give people some insight as to who you are and make you more approachable. So, all right, Sue.
Actually, I'm going to go to Facebook here for a second, and I'm going to throw this question out to some of our new folks, Zach, Matt, Trevor, and Sarah, because we all know how Chuck and Pete operate. But one of the questions that came across, John asked a good question. Do you guys join groups on LinkedIn, such as school alumni groups, groups related to your career, groups that have that are related to your company? Do you engage in groups like that?
Any and everybody. I mean, the more eyes and ears, I feel like if you're in job seek mode that you have, I mean, if you have the Career Force Center working for you, as somebody with MACV like myself working for you, you've got people in different kinds of networking groups, you are tapped into a college that you went to. You're basically building a team for yourself to go, all right, here's my team. They're kind of doing the work and they're the eyes and ears, but then I'm still hitting the pavement and doing what I can and following up with them. And it should be an 8-hour day job to job seek. But I mean, I got myself back into Dunwoody, and Chuck, I haven't really talked to you about this, but I've been talking with Rich Pierce, who's the president of Dunwoody. He's a Navy veteran. And, I was working before COVID with Anthony over there, who's the student chapter president for the veterans community there. There's 132 veterans there. there's different things we can all bounce off each other from a veteran standpoint. There's things we can bounce off each other from a job seeking standpoint, you know, and to make sure that that's all linked together. That was something I was working towards, and I'm still getting back to that. But I mean, it's huge when you get into some of those places. There's college job fairs that happen every year. And, you know, now that they're remote, they still happen.
I want to make a point about LinkedIn too. At least this is my approach. So one of the things that I got from last week, Steve was talking about his, 5-minute networking, the bottom 3 people on your text messages or whatever, that can get a little sketchy if you don't know who that person is, because, got a new S20 phone here last week. Not everything transferred. So be a little careful with that. But the one thing that I've done is I've actually reached out to people that I used to golf with that I've kind of disconnected from over the last decade or so. And I've been having conversations at least for an hour a day with each of them. I'm trying to hit 2 a day if I've got the time. So one of the things too on LinkedIn, if somebody connects to you and they won't talk to you, what's the good of having that connection? Or at least communicating. So that's like when somebody hands you a business card, you should never feel that you can't call them. Tim Loney, right here. It's the guy that runs a Warrior hockey. Gave me his card, call him next morning. Super happy to hear from me, So if somebody connects with you on LinkedIn or hands you a business card, that's an open invite to have a business conversation. Keep that in mind. All right, sorry. Trevor, you picking anything up here yet?
Yeah, I'm picking up every time I attend one of these, I'm picking something up. I mean, we briefly talked about open up or updating your LinkedIn, and I've only really been doing this LinkedIn networking thing probably for the past 2 months, and I'm learning something every time I attend one of these. But I'm still trying to figure out. I mean, the whole networking. It's every time I talk to somebody about it, it's the one thing is the common thread is it's important, but I'm still trying to figure out, okay, so we're networking, we're creating relationships. So once you do that, I guess, what's the next step? Like, am I supposed to, create these relationships that I could potentially leverage in the future? Do I wait for an open door, or is there an ask sometime in the future? So that's kind of like what I'm struggling with right now. I don't know if you guys have any insight on that, but so that's kind of where I'm at with the networking piece. I've been networking pretty good. I mean, with you, Chuck, I sent you a connect, other folks, and I'm attending USA Transitions in some of these veteran programs. But the whole networking thing, I guess I'm struggling with what does the next step mean?
Okay, so I'm going to go to Matt in a second. So get ready, Matt. So, Zach put up a good book, Mission Transition, okay? I would suggest this one as well, the 20-minute networking meeting, because this will break it down for you in a process manner, okay? This will give you a formula, a script essentially, on how to be effective. And it's a little different with COVID out here, right? Because everything's Zoom these days, and everybody's afraid to be within 100 feet of anybody. So, you got to do it with modern technology, but the core is, at least in this book, to kind of a brief overview on yourself, discuss your background, and then ask to be introduced to somebody who might know somebody. You're never networking with the person that's going to hire you. That's usually the interview. Okay. So your goal is to get to the interview. So, I don't want to go down a networking path from how you do it, more of ways to get to at least to knock on the front door. Matt, so you mentioned that you've been doing some consulting stuff with your dad. That's about networking as well, right? What's some of your guys' approaches there?
No, I look at it like this. And when I was in intelligence, I was in human intelligence. So a lot of interpersonal relationship building there. And then with, since we're on LinkedIn, just rolling as well, or online networking over as well. I kind of look at networking as, dating in a way. If you're bad at dating, well, then this analogy is going to miss you a little bit. But you know, you're building a relationship with that person for a specific. Like said, it's either to get to the next person, it's to get the interview, it's to get the sale. It's X, Y, or Z. So you have to look at that. You've got to build a stable plan in there, or within whatever that main goal is, and kind of micro goal that down. But you know, it's one of those things. Social media has given us a great way to network, because unlike networking in person, where you're usually right in front of the person, you've got to make an on-the-spot decision. And if you say the wrong thing, if you do the wrong thing, you could shoot report and that opportunity could be gone. Social media, whether it's LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, whatever it may be, gives us an awesome opportunity to be able to network, think about things. I hate to say it, but you know, screen those messages before you reply. See what the first couple words are. You see which direction the conversation's going, and kind of develop a thought pattern before you reply. So you know, it all depends on how you reach that, or how you get to that initial engagement. And if you initially meet somebody online, if you're going to take that relationship to an in-person relationship, or vice versa, if it's going to be a first meeting, and then that relationship is primarily going to be over the phone, or over the web after that. It's all about just goal setting and prioritizing what the end state is for that relationship, and that end state can change. It's like a business plan, or you know, whatever sort of mission brief you're getting ready to go on. At some point, you could get a Frago that's going to change, you know, what the outcome of that mission is. That could be the same thing with networking, with getting to know people, whether it's for work, personal, whatever. You know, normal relationship building is networking. It's just not called networking. It's called relationship building.
Okay, so we're wrapping up here, right, Sue? Oh, I was wondering what that whip was on my back. Just kidding. So one best practice / takeaway for the week for these guys to try. Let's throw one brainstorming idea out there each. Sarah, what's one good thing that anybody can concentrate on this week, according to yourself?
I'd say kind of like what Zach was talking about. Look at the groups, look at the different organizations that the LinkedIn profile is associated with, and use that as a talking point. That's a warm conversation starter to find a commonality, to be able to begin building that relationship, to then later be able to say, hey, you know, so-and-so, I'm looking at, you know, jobs here, because your ultimate goal is generally build your business if you're like an entrepreneur or a young owner, or get yourself in the door with somebody who's going to hire you and keep you for your 20+ year career. So use those connections, use those groups, the things people have in their profiles, as a warm conversation starter to begin building that relationship.
Pete?
Be a little strategic. Play the long game, and pick a company that you might be interested in working at in the future, and start learning only through LinkedIn, everything you can learn about that company and the power players, the people that you need to connect with there, and go ahead and start connecting with them. But when you can connect on a level that's like, hey, I know about your company. I'm really interested in this particular program you're running, or this service, or this product, because you've done your research.
Sue. Oh, sorry. Keep going, Pete.
I'm done.
Okay. Sue, one good thing.
If you haven't done it, go out and get your veteran premium service through LinkedIn. Chuck will post the link to it on Facebook with our live recording. But go out and get it, because it is key and it is huge. There's a huge library of training and classes and certifications that you can get as a vet for free. Take advantage of the tools that you have.
Matt?
Just kind of brainstorm 5 to 10 one-word descriptors for the week that you could use either on your resume to kind of gear what skill sets that you're going to target and going to broadcast to that impossible employer, as far as what you're good at, and to kind of mold your resume into something that's well-rounded, or that you could use in conversation to kind of you know, whether that's task organization, you know, things like that, strategies for yourself. You know, just so when you walk into a room or you write that down on paper, you've got a good way just to kind of gear your mind towards what that end state's going to be that you're working towards.
Nice. Zach.
I would say the biggest piece, like what you said, with the 20-minute networking book, I posted the links to both the books in our chat. I'm hoping we get Sue posted those. It's a veterans edition to the 20-minute networking book. That's really helpful. Both are great. The mission transition, read things. If you're just getting out, if you're transitioning, figure out who your local, you know, CVSOs are. Figure out who your disabled veterans outreach personnel, your local veteran employment reps. Find your veterans communities and really start to build that ground level from where you're coming from, and then work your LinkedIn to how it's best going to suit you. Do things that you're passionate about. I got out of construction. I hated it. I took a $26,000 pay cut to do what I do now. Stress level, way down. Love what I do now, would never look back, but I had to network properly and research, use the VA, use MDVA, use the DAV, use all the different organizations that you can utilize as a veteran to project yourself into that community, and you'll find what you're looking for if that's what you're looking for. If you're looking for construction, something else, go find those people. There are networks, there are groups, and, you know, a lot of people that can help you find those.
Trevor, how about the guy that's currently transitioned? What kind of stuff picked up on?
Out of this meeting?
Yep.
I guess I need to buy that book. That's the first priority as soon as I get off here. Well, I was a little late to the group. What were you guys talking about before I got in here?
You get that on the replay, man. Yeah, no, we've been focused on best practices for building your LinkedIn network tonight.
Yeah. I did have a question. It wasn't addressed here. I know we're supposed to leave, but if someone's willing to talk to me on the phone after we leave, I did have a question about the ATS.
Yep.
If somebody's
Hang out
willing.
after the live.
Yep. I'll help you with that.
Awesome. I appreciate it.
No problem. All right, let's see. So my hint is connect with someone that you haven't talked to for a year and just have a conversation with them on the phone. That would be my biggest takeaway. And set yourself a goal that's realistic, whether that's 1 a day or 10 a day, whatever that is to you. That's the best way to network. And then, you know, reach out to these new people. I was actually kind of stunned myself. I had a kind of a power player at Wells Fargo connect me to a few people, and every single one of them took my phone call. So, you know, just have a nice conversation with them. And what's the worst thing that they can do to you? Tell you no? If you don't ask, the answer's already no. At least that's my...
You lose everything to gain.
Exactly.
Well, in that conversation, they could say, hey, we've got nothing for you, but I know these people, and there's 2-3 more connections for you that you get to go check out.
Exactly. So, Sue, is that a wrap or what? How far over did we go?
We're about 9 minutes over. We're good.
Ooh.
It's all good. But yeah, we should wrap.
Okay. All right. Thanks for joining everybody tonight. Give us some feedback. John Peterson, those questions didn't qualify for a sticker pack tonight. I'm sorry.
He was just trying to get the sticker, no doubt.
See that. Those would be participation awards. We don't do that here. No green ribbons. You got to be on the podium, dude, to get one. Sorry. Anyway, thanks for joining everybody. Really appreciate that. Have a good evening. Bye.
See ya.